segues me into my next point. Xavier, I want to ask you a question. You know, Bron said that he's still doing his own thing, but still has Big Dreams Realty on the side. Kind of, how have you? I know you got multiple things happening on the side. You're trying to build side income. How have you kind of time managed yourself and worked on those side incomes while also doing your day job?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that. So, of course, you know, if you listen to the last podcast, if you haven't, you know, pause this video right now. Go to the last podcast with you guys, Pong. So go listen to that. But so of course I told you about the whole job search. You know, one thing I would like to say for anybody who's just like looking for a job during this time, you know, it's very hectic. Is that like, you know, stay strong. Like whatever that you do, like. I think one thing I appreciate about like majoring in accounting is like, you know, you have that job stability. I don't really have to worry about like, oh, where can I find a job? It was literally people hitting me up like daily, like, hey, we really want you. So of course I'm glad to report this past week I got 3 new offers, you know, from 3 fantastic companies. You feel me? Like, but what I see is, you know, my future, not only having that 9 to 5. One of my favorite people is his name is Jamal King. He's called the 9 to 5 millionaire. But he teaches a lot about like having your own 9 to 5 job that you go to, which is kind of one of the questions I'm gonna ask you a little bit later. But having a 9 to 5 job like during the day, but also having like a couple of streams of income on the side. So whether it be, you know, building equity in my house, whether it be us selling merch, pretty much anything that we have on the side, like it's very difficult. But I think number one thing that you need is like a team. You know, you're like, like if you think that you're gonna get far by yourself, like you're delusional. You know, and I think that's one of the biggest things that why y'all have like 2 people, like even one person extra can help you because you can bounce ideas. So
I like to jump into that. Like I am big on, you know, bringing the right people into your circle. But I think as I get older, like I'm more intentional on like trying to get to know those people because like you can get a vibe from somebody initially and right away, but that person may not, you know, turn out to be the person you want to join on your team. But I think you know, I'm a vibe person, bro. You know, like you know what somebody's on, bro. Like especially as you get older, you know what somebody on, bro. You know, but you can tell if they're like real or they just talking. You know, and like I've been more on the like, bro, stop talking and show me. You know, but you can be a part of this, man. Because I'm a team oriented person. But like you can be a part of this, and it's not like, oh, I'm better or like I started this, but like you create your part. Like you do that. You create what you want to do on this team. You know, so like you know, when I think of Big Dreams Realty, I think of just like every person I've ever came by and just like, hey, like this is what I'm doing. Like and like just believe in the goal, believe in the mission, believe in the future. You know, like it's so crazy sometimes, man. Like who the people you meet later on in life, because the people you meet later on in life be the most people who believe in you the most, bro. They believe in you. It's not the people you grew up with, bro. It be the people you meet later on in life where you have to like you gotta show them that they want you to fail, bro. Like I've been meeting so many people this last couple years, especially moving out to Houston. And I'm like, man, I know there was a reason why I met you. Yeah, there was a reason. We got a common goal. We're trying to make money. Bang. Let's tell them, bang. I just met you. Bang. We just met how long ago? We already on the podcast. And it's like, bro, like you meet them then in January. It's been 6 months, and we already like seen so many commonalities. So many things that we have in common, right? I remember following you 2 weeks ago, bro. I'm like, I don't know this guy, but I can tell that like I'm not finna hate on my brother. Right. I love that shit. And like, I love that shit. Back to the title of the podcast, Black King. I'm a Black King, but I'm also like I'm in the social work, mental health field. So I know the importance of just showing my brother like, hey, bro, like I see your grind, your hustle. I see you as a person, bro, and I want to be a part of whatever you got going on. You know? And I don't know what I'm gonna do with you, but you know, we gonna do something.
And so AJ, I want to segue this to you. I know you've been playing in teams your whole life.
Let's get it in.
But how has that team aspect from
but even before we get there, like we need to also get into like who these individuals are. So what do you mean by team? We don't know if they play softball or some random ass shit. Like what do these niggas do? What do these niggas do?
Introduce yourself.
Please, talk your shit.
AJ Abbott. I played football, high school. collegiately at the University of Wisconsin, and then I grad transferred to Western Michigan University to get a master's as well. I got the master's and also played football there as well. It's been a great transition. I ended up moving to Houston to attack the dream with my boy right here.
Yes, sir.
Realty. But go ahead and introduce yourself as well.
My name is Rashad Hall, man. I have a undergraduate degree in criminal justice, master's degree in social work. I like to say that I know a lot about the real estate game, but that I'm also a qualified mental health professional. So, I work with a lot of black children, man, a lot of black kids, just making sure they're growing up with the proper, people in their life, man. Because I remember when I was a kid, man, the things that I needed, the things that I wanted somebody to tell me right from wrong. You had to learn a lot of things just off the strength of you just living life. But think about all the things that you could have. Think of all the things you could have. But not even a mentor, man. Like I try to tell my kids, like I'm not a mentor. I tell them I'm just your friend. You feel me? You try to build and try to teach them how to create.
You capture a bigger audience when you tell them you're just your friend.
But they listen to you more, they respect you more, and they don't look at you as like a superior. I try to tell you, like, I'm not here. It's not up to me, what you choose to do in your life. I'm just trying to tell you what I've seen and what I've learned. It's not up to me, man. Like, it's up to you. So I'm not your mentor. I'm your friend.
So who you play with collegiately?
Me?
Bron,
so I went to UW Oshkosh, and I played 4 years there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we got 3 collegiate athletes on the podcast. Like, this is actually pretty big. So one thing I really want to ask y'all is like, how is that balance? Me as a regular ass GDI. First of
That's a real nigga, man.
Yeah, bro. But yeah, so I appreciate the words, bro. But I like to say I did a little bit of sports. I ran campus, you feel me? So like I did a little bit of running. But to be for real, like, so how do y'all, I think one of the biggest things that we want to talk about in this continuing podcast is like, as black men, how is it that we are able to organize these different facets? Of course, we want to get to the women a little bit later, but I want to know as collegiate athletes, how have you been able to organize your life, even from freshman year, develop to senior year? We start with you.
You want to start with me?
Yeah, let's start with them. The big boys. Let's start with them, man.
I mean, look. I've been playing sports my whole life, so obviously you get used to going to school, going to practice, Obviously, when you reach college, it gets to a different level. You go to practice, then school, then practice, then homework, with a little more practice at the end. You know what I mean? And it really just kind of time management, you have to have it. Yeah. If you don't have it, then you're just not going to be successful. So it was just embedded in me, since I was, a kid, just doing that every day. Yeah. And that definitely translated over to collegiately. And then it really just gave me the skills after college to just have that wherewithal to, look, if you ain't playing sports, what you going to put that effort in?
Bro.
You're going to put the effort into getting money.
Bro.
So that's when we figured it out. Not to, jump off whatever, but, AJ and Bron, Bron's name is Rashad. You know what I mean? But I gave him Bron.
Yeah, he did.
I love it. Hoop teammates, and I call him Bron because he plays like Bron.
Yeah. Okay. Backing up nigga down.
I know he did, you know what I mean? But it just kind of takes it back to surrounding yourself with the right people. We really we connected in college when he was getting his master's and I was in my senior year at Wisconsin. We really just connected in a way. We had the same aspirations, but we was about action. We was actually doing stuff to get to that point. We wasn't just talking. So that's really how we connected, and then we just kept going from there. Big Dreams Realty, what it is.
Yeah. I would say, bro, it's really like he would say, connecting. And like it goes back to the importance of networking, right? Putting yourself in the correct spaces, and then surrounding yourself, like I always try to say, with the right people, man. Because it's you can go years with not meeting the person that you're supposed to be doing business with, but then you're individually, you're supposed to be, you hold yourself accountable to, you know, have your business moving. And then when the person or the people that are supposed to surround you, they're going to come, you know, after, you know.
As long as you take care of business and shit.
But you're supposed to be networking, you know, the whole time. You know, getting to know people, really getting to know people, not just like some surface level stuff. We can get into that. No surface level, bro. Like, I want to know everything about what you got going on. You know? Like, I want to know everything because because how you have moved on in life is going to show me what you're going to do once we're business partners, you know? So, like, it shows a lot. So, but I will say, like, he's been the one person this whole time that has, like being consistent, like showing like, hey man, I'm willing to do this, that, and this to like for us to get here. You feel me? And like it didn't really have to be a conversation. It was really just a quick little, hey, this is what we should do. You go into it, but I think you asked something about, you know, being a college athlete. We talk about business again.
I actually want to piggyback off that. So for me, when I was in college, you know, looking back on it now, I realized that I went to practice, like especially during the summertime when track season was like hot. I went to practice and then just played the game after that. But now I have a 9-to-5 job, then side hustle, then gotta go to the gym. My brain is activated from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., 9 p.m. So it's a different type of energy. And so I feel like for the first, I would say year and a half, I had low energy all the time. I was always tired because I was using my mind so much. When I'm running, like I'm not even really thinking. I'm just, I'm going 226.
You've been doing this shit.
I've been doing this shit since 8. So I'm not thinking. So I'm not really using much brain power. But now I got to use my brain all day. So that was the first transition. But when I actually, you know, went through that for a year, I realized that I have a lot of energy. I have a lot of energy. I'm low-key a machine, bro.
Come on, man.
Low-key a machine. Like, I write my shit down and I get my shit done from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'll be going straight through the list, bro. Straight through the list. And so I say all that to say, like, a lot of people that I know from A&M, they kind of struggle with who their identity is when they move from college to the real world.
That's a big topic.
A big topic, right? They struggle with their identity. Who are they? Because they've been doing sports their whole life. And I realized once you find your purpose outside of track, you can put all that energy that you put into those workouts into, like you said, making money, bro.
I feel like the question that you're saying right now is like, I felt the same thing. It was like, but the question I always asked myself after I finished playing college football was, what's next? You know? Like you're consistently asking yourself, what's next? What am I want to do next? Because your next is, you know, it goes back to decision making. Every move matters now.
Bro, single
But I mean, like, even if you take a loss, right? Even if you make the wrong decision, that matters on like making your next decision.
So when did that actually start? So like, when was the transition of like,
it was right away.
This is fun.
It was right away.
Okay.
I think it was right away because it comes to a point where like you're in your senior year. You know you got 4 games left. Oh, wow. You got 1 meet left. You know the day is coming, right? So like you're like, okay.
And you start just avoiding it. Being prepared.
Or then you start analyzing like, okay, I've gotten this look. Or maybe this person's talked to me. Now you start trying to figure out who your resources is or who the people you know is. Like, okay, I need to figure out what I'm finna do right now. So then, like, I think that happened with me. Like, you know, you think football year, you have, 12 games in a year, 11, 12 games. Like, you know, if you don't make it to the playoffs, you think it'll be quicker. But if you make it to the playoffs, you really just focus on the football season. But I think it was me. I get it. I go for real with y'all. I come from nothing, man. So I'm always, even before it was my sophomore year, I'm already thinking like, what I'm gonna do? If I don't make it to the league, I gotta do something. You feel me? Like, I gotta do something. There's no other option. So like, there's some people who be more relaxed because they have so many other options. But like, I don't have many options. So shit, all through my football season, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, I'm always networking, bro. And I think that's what created me today to be the person of just like, who are you? Like, what are our commonalities? Because I remember it being my junior year, I ended up getting hurt. You know, some other shit had happened. And I remember that being my biggest transition, bro. Like my biggest transition of like understanding who was with me, who was not with me. You know, me having to make the choices or just knowing that I'm on my own.
And I think it's we have to normalize like we have to let the people know, especially the Kings that are listening. Like,
yes, sir.
There's probably like 2% of collegiate athletes that actually go pro. So like, if you are in that small minority, even if you think that you're in a small minority, you have to be working so hard that you are already guaranteed some of these spots. So like, this like if I could talk to my son that is like 18 coming into college, it's just like, hey, like I'm so glad even with Rashad, like I'm so glad that you're good at track. I'm so glad that you're good at football, but like. You need to be acting on like a different, source of income. Don't let this be your only thing. Don't be a one-trick pony. Because like you have to look forward. And like that's one thing that we really, try to strive our listeners to is like looking forward, looking past like what we're doing now, to be bigger than ourselves.
Uncle of mine, man, when I was I remember it specifically, man, I was living in Chicago. An uncle of mine, his name is Ro. Man, he always told me that the one secret into life to be successful is having multiple streams of income.
Man,
it's not having one stream of income. It's having multiple streams of income. You have one income who pays for all of your expenses. Yeah. So if you have one income that pays all your expenses, say that's your career job, what you have went to school for, whatever that may be. Yeah. If all of your expenses, like your daily, your rent, your gas, your groceries, whatever that may be, if that's all paid for by one income, say you have two or three different incomes. Yeah. What else would you do with that money? If you're a smart person, you're gonna save it. But if you're an even smarter person, you're gonna invest it. Man, you're gonna put it into things that are gonna appreciate, like real estate. Yeah. So I've always learned, like, he owned 20 different properties in the Chicago area. Yeah. He was even doing not just single families. He would own a single family home, and then he knew that in the Chicago, most people couldn't afford just one home. Yeah. So he would have three different families living in one single family home with 4 different houses. But it was just like they would all share the same common area. Yeah. But he was charged all of them a certain amount of money. So he was making more money on that property than he was, but then he had a career job that he done on a 9 to 5, but it wasn't really a 9 to 5. He had flexibility, So like he was eating so much because he had 2 or 3 different incomes. And from the day that I spent time with him, and since he told me that, that's always been my agenda.
And you know what? I want to piggyback off that point. Then AJ, I'm gonna ask you a question. So on Friday, I was reading the balance sheet from. I'm not even gonna say his name, but he's a really rich man in Charlotte, right? Yeah. He has $2.5 billion of assets. And when I was looking at billion. When I was looking at his portfolio and his balance sheet, I noticed that he has 12 different LLC structures to his name. But he has a lot of multifamily or apartment portfolios where he has, just apartment buildings and they're all cash flow.
Yeah, wow.
And while I was looking at it, and I was saying, like, and your uncle was really what brought it up, like, he's going to make money for the rest of his life. Because he doesn't even, hires property management to take care of the property. He's nothing. He's just getting cash flow. He pays himself $400,000 a month. Yeah. And gave himself a $50 million bonus in December. Yeah. And he's getting all that cash flow from his multifamily apartments, which he does no work for. He's already built them.
He makes money while he sleeps.
He makes money while he sleeps. So I say that big picture, big dreams realty, like, that's big dreams. Like
that's the whole concept of the name.
Let's have shit making money for us in our sleep through different portfolios. That's kind of what my goal is. And AJ, I wanted to ask you a question to go deeper into the college transition. When you played your last football game and kind of that mindset, like, I'm not gonna lie, when I ran my last track race, I damn near cried. I actually did cry. Yeah. So like, what was your mindset? Playing your last football game and was it hard to kind of transition over into just being a quote unquote regular person, or was it really easy?
Man, and this is a whole different topic because I'm going through this right now. Actually, I know plenty of athletes that struggle. They are playing sports all their life. And it's all about practice. It's all about getting your body better. It's all about transition to be the best athlete you can be. Word. I'm blessed to be able to have the wherewithal to be able to know what I want to do next, thinking about that next move all the time. Right. And I was always thinking about that. And I always realized, so for me, I had the ability, I have the ability to do what I wanted to do. Whether that's go to the league, whether that's be big in real estate. I always had the ability athletically to do it. But I always was thinking in the back of my mind, what if that doesn't work? Right. What if that doesn't happen? Right. So, my last game actually ended, it It was really a growing thing. I had a lot of growing issues at my last year, and it was hard. I ain't gonna lie, it was very hard.
Man.
And just not being able to play physically was the hardest thing, obviously. Okay. And it was tough. It was definitely tough. But I'll say, and a lot of guys hit me up now who are in my position. They have another year, but they not getting the stats that they need. They're not doing what they need to do, and they're like, "What's next? What am I gonna do?" Yeah. And they coming to me, because they see me doing what I'm doing. They're like, "Oh man, help me out. What is this?" All I say for athletes, man, is just think about it. It's nothing. It's not hard to just sit down and think about, what do you love?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. A lot of athletes, they only love football.
Yeah, bro.
They don't know what they want.
Bro.
They don't know what they want to be. They don't just think about it. Bro. What makes you happy? What makes you happy and what can help you live? You know what I mean? And like I said, it's a big topic.
Bro.
So many athletes go through this, and it's really not talked about as much as it should be.
But a lot of athletes, most likely, you would say, right, goes to coaching, right?
Yeah.
Like if you don't know, you feel like you want to stick around the sport that you're playing, so you probably go coach.
And I think what you said is important, and I don't think y'all really know how important it is. But he said, think about it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, if they don't necessarily know what's happening, they avoid thinking about it.
They don't want to.
And so they have no idea what happens when the time actually comes because they never thought about it.
Yeah.
You have to literally sit down and dedicate some time to thinking about what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then the next step is to actually do it.
Do it.
And so that's the advice that I'm going to give you. It's just to piggyback off what AJ said. Think about what you want to do, first off, and then create a plan to actually do it.
Well, Bang, what was your experience like?
So my experience, I ran my last race and I gave it my all. So I have no regrets with my entire track career.
As you should.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm a multi-time, All-American.
All talk your shit.
You know.
He's trying to say that real smooth. He's trying to say that. He's trying to say
SEC champion, multi-time, fifth
come on now.
all-time in
Come on now.
high school.
Still get a horn there.
Oh my God! Number 4 all-time at Texas A&M. So I had a great career. I have no regrets. I have garnered the respect of people around the world.
Yeah.
And so when I ran my last race, I was sad because I wanted to make it to nationals. I wasn't having a great year. Like you said, I was injured with my hamstring and shit. So I was going through it. So I cried in the car. Devin was in the car with me, who was my roommate at the time. I cried in the car. But after that, one thing I love about my dad is he always specialized in thinking about what that next step is. Right. So he was actually at the meet. We had to talk, and he had talked about this before, but I already knew what I wanted to do next. I already had a line of business that I wanted to go to. I just got my master's in real estate.
When did that start? Was this all a part of the whole plan since what, freshman year?
Since freshman year. So I created a plan my freshman year, and instead of kind of moving around, I just stuck with it. Yeah. It fucking sucked though, because finance is not a
sexy field.
It's not even sexy. It's not easy. This shit is kind of hard until it's kind of like tying your shoes. But once you get it, you kind of got it.
Yeah.
But it's okay, what is a net cash flow? How do I read this balance sheet? What does this even mean? Yeah. So it's not like a different language. But to get into the main point, I already had a plan that I had enlisted, and so it kind of gave me peace of mind because I wasn't just fumbling around with what to do. I was like, okay, now I guess I got to work for CBRE. I got to move to San Antonio. I got to do this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And so I already went into the 9 to 5 and not having energy because I had to use my brain. But that's the main thing I was struggling with. But mentally, I was okay because my dad had always instilled in me what's the next step. Yeah. And so I already had planned. I had already thought about it from freshman year. So I was kind of confident in knowing exactly what I was about to do. Mm-hmm. But to move into the next topic, Bron, you said something super interesting when you said about, the dual income or the multiple streams of income. And I kind of want to segue this into relationships because me and Xavier always talk about.
Hey, do the am I tripping, bro?
Oh my God!
Might as well.
Okay.
We might as well do the am I tripping, bro? Because I need to hear this.